Hello, YouTube.
Hello, hello.
You are in the Doghouse with Alex and Brode.
Oh.
So, before we get started, I wanted to ask you a quick question. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I did my dance regimen, and I actually feel a lot looser today. Not so much pain. Doing good.
Excellent. That's good. Because I've got a big one for you.
Oh yeah.
I know that you're an R. Kelly fan.
Well, yes.
Sort
I
of,
am.
at least.
I do like his music. I don't delve into anyone's personal life. I learned with Britney Spears I'm not doing that. But before we start, there's disclaimers. This is an adult channel. If any kids are listening, it's on the pack of the parents. I don't want anyone to think that, we're viewing towards teens or anything like that, because, we're in the doghouse for a reason.
Listener discretion is advised.
Yes.
Okay, so I just found out just a few minutes ago before we started live, R. Kelly is apparently holding women against their will in a cult. This is Parents to Police.
What?
This is on BuzzFeed, so,
Right.
But I have verified it with some other websites, so there is some story to it. Basically, this mother goes backstage at the Fantasy Springs Resort Casino in California back in 2015, right? Thrilled that her 19-year-old daughter's music career is going to be make a major leap forward from recording demos and performing at talent shows at the chance of stardom, thanks to the help of an R&B superstar. And we already know who that is.
Right.
And she says when we got to go backstage with Kelly, we stayed there over 2 hours, one-on-one with just me and my daughter and him. We went back to talk about the music. He listened to her CD. He's going to help her with her CD. And I was very impressed with him at first because I've always been an R. Kelly fan. Yeah, I guess probably not so much anymore because it seems as though she is accusing now Kelly of keeping that very same daughter in captivity. Supposedly, she's only spoken to them a couple times over the last 2 years. A text was sent on Christmas, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and no, I'm sorry. She actually wished that things weren't the way they were right now for Christmas, is what she said. And the other text that she sent was later on in the year. I think that was
Mother's Day?
Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day from me and Rob was if I remember right. Yeah. So this is the only 2 times that she's had contact with them. And the things that they're hearing about, they're apparently accusing it of being a cult because, apparently, some of his inner circle, which are 3 women that he used to sleep with, had spoken with BuzzFeed, and they said that he actually has up to possibly 6 women in different locations, in different homes, and in different parts of the country.
But a cult?
So it's a cult. Apparently, they all there's something where they have to all call him daddy and follow daddy's rules, and if they break them, according to a couple of the girls in the entourage at least, if any of them broke the rules, and then they were beat up physically. One of them said that she was thrust against a tree.
Okay.
And
see, cult, it sends shivers up my spine, and the reason being is when I think of cult, I think of Manson. I think of a group of people that are led by a leader that.
Yeah, I would have thought more like a Branch Davidian, if you remember from Texas.
Yeah, but usually they share a similar values and faith and stuff. Brainwashing, period in a story. But honestly, this is my nature of things. If they're all consenting adults, and it sounds like they're all over the age of 18, that kind of sounds more like a BDSM community family, where he's the daddy dom, and they're his baby girls, like a polyamorous relationship, and 9 times out of 10 that's consenting,
well,
not a cult.
Right, and you bring that up, and it turns out that according to those women that were in his entourage, he has a den mother who trained the newcomers on how to sexually satisfy Kelly. So you also have a 25-year-old woman who's been a part of his scene. Actually, a couple of these girls have been with him for 7 or 8 years, in fact. And according to them, he even has his own favorite #1 girl.
Okay.
Who is a singer. So it's an 18-year-old singer from Polk County. I don't know anything else about her, but for some reason he's picked her as his #1.
Well, I mean, usually within the BDSM community in a polyamorous relationship, which is kind of what that sounds like, as far as like a daddy dom baby girl type relationship in a poly family. It sounds like, baby girls, they have needs, and some of those needs, they want to be told what they're going to dress for the day, what they're going to eat for the day, what their regimen's going to be for the day, and they want their daddy to have it all planned out. It gives them a sense of security, gives them a sense of love, too, because the time that it would take for the daddy dom to, put into them to sit there and schedule out their day,
right.
That's a form of affection. Now, you also have baby girls that'll sit there and they'll push their limits to get spanked and, to get punished. And there's just so many holes in the story, that I'm looking at, and I have so many questions. But
for instance, like, what if these women, I mean, it's not like they spoke to 3 of his male friends. They spoke to 3 of his female friends who, in fact, had sexual relationships. So could they not just be scorned and adding fuel to the fire that is against a man that is, broke their heart or whatever? Maybe they fueled that fire when the parents came along, so that they could, maybe this is our way of getting revenge on him.
Well, see, and that's something, and I hate to say it, but he's got a fat bank account, he's making good money to be able to take care of these girls. Obviously, he's taking care of each single one of these, putting them in a place or whatever. So, my question goes to, was he helping this family, pay bills and giving them monthly, funds or whatever, for whatever reason, and then he stops doing it, they become scorned and mad because they're no longer getting a dime from him, and lashing out in that way. And could some of these girls that are coming forward saying one thing or another be just entirely upset because they're no longer getting any type of financial aid from him?
Right, but you remember earlier on in his career, he's had more than a dozen civil lawsuits filed against him because of claims of having using his standing to have sex with underage girls.
Yeah,
and a lot of them were settled out of court.
Yeah.
But one of them he paid.
Right.
So one way or another, you look at it.
It says that he was acquitted, but it also says that there was a sex tape shown in court of him having sex with a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
Now, see that's.
But who's that 14-year-old girl? Because is it Elia? Because she married him.
Right.
But she lied about her age too. Now,
Exactly.
was that something he made her do, or was that something she did of her own volition so they could get married?
Right. And see, and that's where it's a double-edged blade, because it could be he had money, paid the right people off, or it could be that he was just one of those guys that didn't know any better, because the girl probably said, "Oh, I'm 18." Looked it because 12, 14-year-old girls can sit there and wear these tight-ass jeans and
he wants an
tops.
opportunity to meet young women,
right?
Because he's got a lot of money, and why not, right?
Well,
A lot of these older, even comedians do it. Comedians are really big on it, on trading in their wives for younger models, basically.
A lot of times it's the wives trading them in because they don't want their lives to be depicted on their talk shows or their stand-ups. That was an issue that was with Jeff Dunham with his previous wife.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I'd wonder about that. I figured maybe he's the one that traded traded up, you know?
And if I'm not mistaken, Jim Carrey even got lashes from his wife back in the day because he was using some things that happened within his life and used
that's
it
name.
as... Yeah, that's a name you haven't heard in a minute, isn't it?
Yeah. it's been a hell of a minute.
But now, if this accusation was indeed true and he knowingly was having sex with a 14-year-old girl, it makes you wonder if maybe he's behind this group that you were talking about, you know, where it's pedophiles that are trying to get it legalized to drop the consenting age or take away the consenting age.
Oh, hard progress. Yeah, yes. Because they're trying to, what they want to decriminalize a term. This is the most disgusting thing I think I've ever heard in my life. I don't often throw up in my mouth, but when I read this word, I got pretty sick. Pedosexuality. Try processing that for a minute. He wants to decriminalize pedosexuality, which basically is his way of saying, I want it to be okay for me to diddle children and get away with it. Boy, I hope no one takes me out of context on that right there.
Well, I mean, we're in the doghouse for a reason, and it's not just because we're goofballs, it's because we're highly opinionated. But, I mean, yeah, I have kids, you know, and I have a 14-year-old daughter, and a 13-year-old daughter, and a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm about to have a daughter, you know, within the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, it really raises those alarms, raises the hairs on the back of the neck. You know, a matter of fact, you talking to me made me, you know, question, well, who is living around me that is, you know, sex offenders? And now, not all sex offenders are pedophiles. Some, I mean, some of these people are wrongfully put on there. I get that. They still have to register. But when you're talking about the well-being of your children, and you cannot be up their butt 24 hours a day, they got school, they got after-school programs, you know, we're talking about trying to let our children live a life of their own and not just hover over them like hawks. But when you have something like this going on, it makes it really hard to not want to stalk your own children just to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, I know, because you have, I mean, it's scary when you find out you've got 2 or 3, did we get something in for the producer just now? Oh, okay. You're gonna have to practically clamp your mouth on that microphone.
I think I'm gonna deep throat the mic. Can you hear me now? No, but in all honesty,
oh shit! The coughing segment came on early today.
Even if you don't have kids, you have to be concerned for your family. You might be a teenager that has a young sibling. Like your wife was telling us a story yesterday. There's an ice cream man. He sticks to a schedule. I'm actually used to seeing him myself. A 17-year-old boy went out with his 12-year-old sister.
That's right.
To go and get ice cream, and this ice cream man literally asked her out on a date.
Right in front of the brother, huh?
Yes, right in front of the brother. And the brother said, "You do know my sister's 12, right?" And he pretty much said, "I like them."
Oh my God! Really?
I like them that way.
Oh, he must be one of these hard progress faggots then.
Oh my goodness. And it's that ice cream man. I remember being like 6 years old, my mom handing me money and me running to this ice cream truck, getting my little candy cigarettes because it was still legal back then. You don't see candy cigarettes anymore.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen those in forever. Yeah. Oh my god. I used to love those things. They're so chalky and shit, but I loved biting them. I didn't even bother pretending to smoke them. Man, I was a total sucker for the tobacco company.
These are the people that are supposed to be a part of the community, you know, neighborhood watch, you know, people that are supposed to, they're working with the kids, they're selling the kids sweets and stuff like that. They should be looking out for their better interests and well-being, you know, not being criminals in the aspect of, hey, come on in my truck. You know, let me show you another popsicle.
Oh, no.
I mean, if I ever seen anything like that, I would rip that fucker out of his truck and shit down his throat.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. That's like the one time I would exonerate any amount of what we call it, civil justice
Yeah.
or
Yeah. I'd be
vigilanteism. That's what I'm looking for.
I mean, there no, the red flags are all up there. But no, on a serious, another serious note, though, I mean, you do have men and women that are on the sex registry offenders list that doesn't even belong there. You know, we're talking. You were telling me about a guy that had went out on the back porch.
We already talked about that this time.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we're totally doing the Star Trek thing right now, where we're, you know, did you see that episode of TNG where they were repeating the same period of time over and over again?
Yes, I did.
That's kind of what we're doing right now, isn't it?
Wow, it's like the Twilight Zone.
But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. I was embarrassed to do it, but I won't admit it because now the audience is like, what the fuck are these idiots talking about? Because we actually already did about 45 minutes of the podcast, and then we realized that the mic wasn't going out. So oh my god, we started over.
Yes.
I'm so embarrassed. I'm such an unprofessional douchebag. But
thank God we have our women, you know, in the back that are, you know, watching out for our better interests and let us know before we got too terribly far along.
Yeah.
And the producer just told us to get a move on.
Man. I love my life.
So if you know any more about the Heart Progress Foundation or whatever the hell that shit is,
speaking of, by the way, when I first heard about them, they were on. They had a pretty big Twitter presence, and they were talking a lot on Twitter. Well, I just recently did a search because, you know, for the show today, and I was doing some research. I can't find nothing from them anymore. Their Facebook is taken down. Their Twitter is taken down.
Websites?
They have a website, heartprogress.com, I think. Or maybe it's .org, I don't know. But it said it's down.
Huh. Well, maybe the government's actually taking the steps to shut these people down before too many people get on board with this heinous idea.
I don't know if it's the government, because Facebook and Twitter, I'm pretty sure it's them that's doing it on those platforms.
I'm sure, but you also have online police where their main job is to completely go throughout the web every day, all day long, looking for
cybersecurity.
Yes, yeah. And you know, if it's not in the benefit of not just the community, but you know, the viewers online, you know, pedophiles or anything like that, you know,
snuff will probably be something else that doesn't belong on there, but there's still a lot of it anyway.
Explain to me snuff.
Snuff is, well, it really pertains to pornography, but I think anything where there is an actual killing that takes place, I would call it snuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Because you're snuffing someone's life out. But I mean, I used to hear it about porn. I don't know if it's because they were the snuff films where, you know, they would have a pretty young girl on the thing, and then they would have sex with her, and then they would slash her throat, let her bleed out on the. I've seen a movie that talks about.
Oh,
have you ever seen 8mm with Nicolas Cage?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I love Nicolas
my
Cage,
God!
No, I have not seen that.
It is, you know, a lot of people harangue him for the way he acts, but a lot of people haven't seen 8mm either. From my
very good film.
Thank you.
Even
even our producer agrees. It is an amazing movie. You're going to have to watch it. And let me tell you something, because it does have something to do with this topic. Snuff.
Right.
I believe it's his daughter is missing. No, it's not his daughter. No, it's not his daughter. I apologize. You know what? There's a girl missing. He finds out about it, and he goes into the dark world of snuff to try to figure out if she's still alive. That's basically the way it is. So, but the whole thing, it's riveting. And Nicolas Cage did a really good job in that, I thought.
I enjoy watching movies with him in it.
I like Face Off.
Yes.
I don't care what anyone says. Face Off So what if it sucked? It was my kind of B movie then. Whatever, fuck them.
Right.
I liked laughing at it. John Travolta does a great Nicolas Cage in that movie.
John Travolta is hot. And I'm a lesbian, and I'm going to say he is hot. He was fine.
I'll have to take your word on that, because...
I wanted his body.
Yeah, but did you want his body to have sex with, or to have as your own body?
Well, you know, in all honesty, I really just wanted to use it. I wanted to use it.
Oh, man, how did we get there?
My brain, it sticks, you know, somewhere in wherever there's a hole.
Okay, well, on that note, I actually hate to jump back into the depressing news, but we got to cover this at some point. I guess it was last night. There was an Australian woman found that was fatally shot by Minneapolis police.
What?
She was about to get married, was fatally shot overnight Saturday by a Minneapolis police officer who did not have his body cam turned on. So...
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. Justine Damon was shot as the officers responding to her 911 call of an assault near her home in the Fulton neighborhood. She's from Sydney. She's 40 and also went by the name Justine. Some Russian name. There's no way I want to even pretend to pronounce that. But she was engaged to be married next month to an American man. So I'm guessing she moved here and they were moving here later or something. Police officials said they're looking into the circumstances of the shooting and why the officers were not using their body cameras as required in such encounters, which is the whole point of this thing. And how many stories have we heard lately where the body cams mysteriously turn off right before the shooting incident takes place?
I was just about ready to say that that's becoming a very popular thing that's going on within police around America, not just in one place. This is disheartening, though, because I believe you were telling me about a guy that got shot and his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and her daughter was in the vehicle. Tell me about that.
Are you talking about Philando Castile?
Yes.
Yeah, a year ago. Actually, I think it's about a year ago to the day from this incident that he was shot and killed in his girlfriend's car. And it was by police. It was a routine traffic stop, from what I recall. Mm-hmm. And Philando Castile, and of course they were black. And I'm sorry, I don't care who gets mad at me saying this, but cops have really got a serious taste for the blood of black people. They just seem to love. They love to drench themselves in it because they're killing them constantly. Unarmed black people. And this guy, you know, here's the thing that really pisses me off about this story, because, you know, the NRA is always about guns rights. So that's why these homeowners have these guns that end up killing random strangers that come up to the door or whatever. But no, we got to keep our fucking police militarized by the NRA. But the thing is that Philando Castile, he was informing because they were wanting the proof of insurance and the ID cards. He informed the officer. There's a video out there. If you guys haven't seen it by now, you should look it up. He gets shot by the officers because he told them in advance. Now look, I have a gun I have a registered gun in the car.
Right.
Now I'm just telling you this so you don't think I'm reaching for it. And they start going, don't reach for it, don't reach for it. Pow, pow, pow. Shot him right through the window, the passenger side window, and he's laying there bleeding to death when his girlfriend starts recording for Facebook.
Oh,
you know, with
God.
the phone. And she's sitting there, oh, she is beside herself, but she's keeping it cool. And the thing was, I saw on social media a lot was, no, she was too calm. She was too calm. I'd have been freaking out. Well, sometimes being that calm is because you're in shock.
I was just about to say.
Shock is the epitome of freaked out.
Now, what about her daughter? Wasn't she in the vehicle?
In the back seat.
Oh my God.
Just a little kid, and you know what? I'm not clear if that was a girl. Philando of steel.
Well, I mean,
That might
regardless
not have
of
been.
age,
It was a
even
child,
if
though.
it was just a 4-year-old, that's traumatizing. That's PTSD at a really young age. That's years of therapy. I hope the state police are going to be paying for that shit.
Well, I have some bad news. If you were looking for, yeah, and by the way, it is her 4-year-old daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's not like a 12-year-old, 15-year-old that can maybe understand a little bit about what's going on. It's a 4-year-old can't digest none of it. Just hears the shooting, and then he's dying, and you're crying. But yeah, this is really going to make you happy because he not only got acquitted of the charges, which is the officer that shot him to death, he also got paid a nearly $50,000 severance, I guess, from leaving the force.
So he was pretty much paid to leave.
He was rewarded. Good job. Good job killing them blackies. Here's some money.
Oh. Nah, see, this is why people need to stand up, you know. If all our voices were as one, the governments would not be getting away with half of the shit that they do. Too many people want that cloak over their damn eyes. They want the computer in front of their, face, or the video game, or whatever music turned on. And they want to be oblivious to the world around them, which is why the government gets away with half of this bullshit in the first place. Because I tell you, if we were rallying as one voice out there, wouldn't no one get away with that kind of shit. People would be more, using their cams on their body, doing what they're supposed to do, or lose their fucking job. But I mean, I am not for it. Paid him money to leave. No.
No, hell no. Hell no. No, I'm disturbed and upset by that all at once.
It's grotesque.
It's grotesque. And then you look back at what happened with Damon today or yesterday, then you know that's grotesque too. There can't be anything good comes out of this.
No.
Because she was helping other people. It was a neighbor, she was calling in for the neighbor, and she shot it. No, this can't be good. The cams are off. There's no fucking footage anywhere. Excuse me, unless we're lucky and someone happened to be recording it from across the street or something. It's disgusting, and I think we should. Man, we gotta do something about the training of these cops. And these cops are just they're told, oh, be afraid for your life. Here's a gun pointed at anything that you think might be a slight threat. Don't take any risk on yourself. It was expected of cops in the day that they were taking on a certain amount of danger themselves because their job is to serve and protect. The job is to protect, which means you will have to put your life in danger at some point. What they go fucking across the seas. The military gets sent overseas to shoot people on the ground, and no one has to tell them, hey, you might get in some danger if you join the army.
Right.
Fucking obviously there's some danger to that.
Well, I mean, and I swear to God, I'm going to throw my computer if I hear another guy in a uniform state that the reason things are the way they are is because they don't have the funding. I'm tired of hearing them not have the funding because it comes right out of our fucking taxes. And I'm telling you right now, if they take any more out of our fucking taxes, I'm going to go the fuck off. Because this is ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there and pay for a fucking cop to shoot a black person, a Korean, a German, a whitey, nothing. Alright? Because that is done in my money, which means that's blood money. You know what I mean? That's some bullshit.
It's supposed to be that they take care of us. That's why we are funding them, but that's not what's happening, so...
No, I mean...
Fuck. Hey.
My fiance's sister has one of the best fiancés in the world, and he's black, but, I mean, he's really down to earth. He pays his taxes like anyone else. I know quite a few African Americans that I went to school with in Louisville. I mean, none of these people struck me as, oh, dangerous, let me point a gun at them. As a matter of fact, I had more problems with other white people in my school than I really did with black people. I mean, I did have some issues when it came to certain people, but you know what? You have bad people in every single group that always make the rest of them look bad. But ultimately, there are a lot of good people out there. Quit judging by the skin tone. Quit judging by accents. Just stop the hate. Just stop it.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to pull something up,
Why?
and I can't seem to pull it because, you know what? One of the things that we have to get, we'll have to get video capturing software for or a device or something, because
I agree.
that would be so awesome to be able to play videos and you know, so I can show you a video and then they can see it at the same time.
Right.
So that's definitely on our itinerary.
Right. Definitely.
I think I'm messing. Well, I hope I didn't mess with OBS too much there. Sorry about that.
I do have some shocking story for you. It is world news. Did you know that South Korea is trying to make military talks and negotiations with North Korea?
Wait a minute. Who wants to talk to North Korea?
South Korea.
South Korea. Well,
Yep.
wait a minute, haven't they always wanted to talk?
Well, here's the thing. South Korea's president, Moon Jae-in, or Jae-in, I'm sorry, I'm not good at the pronunciation. He wants closer engagement with the North. But North Korea has not responded to the South's proposal yet.
So this is basically a peace talk.
Well, and that's actually what it's looking like, because it says that the recent speech in Berlin, Mr. Moon said dialogue with the North was more pressing than ever and called for a peace treaty to be signed. So yes, they're talking peace, but that's kind of scary too, if you think about it.
I don't know. It sounds like it's a good thing because South Korea, which is actually an ally of ours,
Right.
has been suffering for, a while, but so
Yes.
is North Korea.
So you guys were talking about how it's really
Whoa.
hard to get out.
Shut up.
But the
I don't need
problem
that.
with that is if they were to say, be in contact, obviously there's going to be wants and needs from both sides. For the South to agree upon having any type of peace treaty with them, they may end up being like, well, relinquish your treaty with the U.S. or so-and-so, if you want to, and then we take over your land and you're one of us.
Uh-huh.
And that seems more so what would happen than, oh, okay, I wash my hands clean of all this dirty mess and I become, friends with America and Germany and Russia. No, I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. I don't. Not with the nuclear war or the nuclear missiles and other warfare that they have in
The threat of the arsenal, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, whew, they may be small, but that don't mean nothing. What is it? I was told it is not the size that matters, it's what you do with it.
I think I've heard you say that before, actually.
Well, I know I wasn't the one that came up with it, but yes, it is very true. And they could do a lot with that.
Yeah. Switching gears, I've got something interesting to tell you about.
Mm-hmm.
There is a revolutionary gel that is being worked on in Korea, just talking about Korea. In Japan, a gel that's 5 times stronger than steel.
Wait, you're talking about a gel. You're talking about like a liquefied,
That's right.
gooky matter.
Yep. As durable as metal, has the flexibility of Jell-O, and could revolutionize how our bodies heal and age. And there's a couple guys here. I know the audience won't be able to see it, but you see them trying to pull it apart? They're trying to tear it, and it will not tear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah.
Tough, bendable fabric combines hydrogels, such as those found in contact lenses or Jell-O, with glass fibers. This particular combination maximizes its resilience, making the material 100 times tougher than hydrogels and 25 times tougher than glass fiber fabric, based on the amount of energy needed to destroy it.
Well, Oh, wait. So what is it made out of?
Oh, excuse me. That's according to the team of Hokkaido University scientists who have spent the past 3 years working on the composite material. It's made of hydrogels that are found in, or such as those found in contact lenses, and it's also got glass fibers.
Okay.
So it combines them.
So how does this help with aging? Is it a cream you put on your face and then it just forever?
No. It's got to do with. I think they're wanting to replace cartilage. Ow! And why do I bite my tongue so much when I'm high? I don't get it. Substitute cartilage, ligament, or various kinds of artificial organs.
Okay, whoa. Now,
Yeah.
that is revolutionary then. I mean, I could actually see that, working, assuming that it has, enough resistance,
Yeah.
because cartilage still moves.
Look at this, though. Look at that material, how thin that is. And that could make bulletproof vests.
Well, there you go.
Because it can be torn.
I mean, I would like to see, this actually be shot at. I would like to, be able to see exactly how durable, this stuff is, the type of, chaos that you can put to this. I would also, if it is as good as what they're claiming it to be, I would like to actually see it not just given to the police force, as vests and such, but I think it should also be offered to the communities, to the commoners, because obviously you can't trust the cops. They're liable to kill you as anyone else. We need to have our own type of protection. I hate to say it, but, hey, it's that time.
Yeah. Well, they're comparing it to the guy that got the inspiration for it anyway. Says sees flour coming out from a very hard floor like concrete cracks, and was wondering why this small flower, such a small, lovely flower, has such a big, large energy to come out. So that inspired him to think about, this where that strength came from, that energy. So that it's interesting what could spark the inspiration of a scientist to create something so powerful, so versatile, something
Right.
that would be useful and could revolutionize the way we do things in our society.
Absolutely.
I mean, just think about the amount of stuff that's been invented over the last 100 years alone.
Yeah.
And the human mind it's a fascinating thing, and of course it doesn't help any that I'm on a elevated level, and then you can further think that. But so yeah, I thought that was a good story you might like to use to switch off. How about something a little funny?
Oh? You got
Yeah.
something
Okay.
funny.
Yeah, the woman taking a selfie causes $200,000 worth of damage at an art exhibit.
How?
And this video shows here. I'm so sad I can't play the video for people. But if you look this up, selfie domino. You look it up on YouTube. I don't care about your ad. Shut up. Skipped video.
You got
Oh, I thought I muted it. My bad. Okay, now skip it. Now, watching that corner right up the upper right hand corner. There's a woman taking a picture right there, and then she moves away, and there she goes, and another one comes over.
Oh, she fell.
Oh my god! Oh!
And look at this guy coming around. Oh, he is pissed. He is pissed.
In the black.
He can't believe what just happened. And she's like, "Oh shit!" trying to pick it up.
It doesn't look like anything broke,
He's
though.
running off. No, I don't know. It says $200,000 worth of damage. I don't know. I don't know what broke.
I didn't see anything break, but at the same time, it was, a camera in a corner, on the other side of the room. It's very easily something could have gotten cracked or anything like that. But as far as things being shattered, it didn't look like anything was harmed. But how dumb you gotta be when you're taking a selfie? Why are you gonna get up on something? I mean, come on, you're not a stripper. You obviously don't own that shit. Oh my goodness. There was a lot of thoughtlessness involved.
Yes, it was. I mean, what happened was she supposedly had kneeled down to take. If you actually watched it again, then you could also see it. She ducks behind the pillar.
Yep.
To take a picture over her head of her, so I guess get the top of her head and the crowns that, because those were crowns sitting there. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I was trying to figure out what it was.
And yeah, the jewelry encasing or whatever it's, what is that called? Oh my God, there's a word for that. Or the settings.
Oh, okay.
The settings might have broken because they were probably very fragile.
Well, yeah, depending on how old they are.
Gems could have broken. I don't. They could have been made of glass or and cracked or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
So either way, she trips as she's trying to do that,
Right.
and then just falls back in, and then you see the rest happen.
Well, do me a favor. You know, those of you people that take selfies, you know, just be aware of your surroundings, please. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and please. Oh my God, I don't really. What I think pisses me off more than selfies are the meal pictures.
Oh.
That actually gets on my nerves a little bit. Because it's like, man, my ass is hungry. Why are you going and doing that shit?
Now, the only time I take pictures of what's on my plate is if I cooked it. And if I cooked it, that's rare.
Well, that's pride. That's a different story. If you cook it, then that's you're advertising for yourself. That's a whole different story. But someone just goes to fucking Applebee's and takes a picture of their disgusting ass meal. I don't really fucking care.
Right. Quit making me hungry.
Well, in the case of Applebee's, quit making me not hungry.
Yeah,
I don't want to lose my appetite.
Eaten at Applebee's, so you know, I mean, other than what I've seen on their commercials. I'm
knocking them. They're not that bad. But I love to knock them.
Right.
Because they're easy to knock. And, so, anyway, the next fun little fluff piece. I got a little fluffy one here for you. I don't know what you think.
Fluffy.
Delta refunds $30 to Ann Coulter after her Twitter rant.
What?
Ann Coulter apparently had a rant directed at Delta Airlines.
Okay.
Because when she got on to get her seat, she goes to the aisle and then sees that there's someone in her seat. And it's just a little person there, just a woman, I think, just sitting there, minding her own business. And Ann Coulter's like, well, this is supposed to be mine. And so this is basically what she says. It said that, where is it? Twitter tirade over being reassigned to a seat with less legroom, and the airline called her string of insults unacceptable and unnecessary. Where are her?
So.
Where's her tweets? I'm just going to read this, though. Apparently, the airline said, we're sorry you did not receive the preferred seat you paid for and will refund your $30. It's, wow, $30.
That's not a
That's
lot.
all she's... No, it's not. That's my point. What's the whoop-de-doo? Fuck you, Ann Coulter. Additionally, your insults about other customers and employees are unacceptable and unnecessary. Delta appeared to have deleted its tweets after they were posted. Oh, why would they do that?
Oh, because
Pussies.
held accountable.
Oh, what pussies.
Man.
You know, say something, stick with it. If you change your mind, that's one thing, but don't just delete the old post.
Because it's
Show
like
that you changed your mind.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah, that don't work.
No.
Hello, welcome to the internet.
They're hiring dumbasses.
Well, they got people in charge that are dumbasses.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what you want from me.
Oh.
Saying she was kicked out of a carefully pre-booked seat to a less desirable seat without explanation, apology, etc. That is supposedly one of Coulter's messages. She also directed her ire at the, and this has got this part in quotes, dachshund-legged woman who took her seat with extra legroom, posting a picture of her. Yeah, and I almost forgot about that. She actually took a picture of her.
Oh.
Coulter, who has 1.6 million followers, likened Delta employees to Nurse Ratched. If you from
I was about to
flew
say,
over the cuckoo's nest.
yeah.
Called Delta the worst airline in America, and suggested the ideal job for a Delta employee would be prison guard, animal handler, or an East German policeman.
Also,
Wow.
doesn't like Germans. I resent that.
The incident generated some social media sympathy from people dissatisfied with airline service, a topic that went viral in April when a man was dragged off a United flight to make room for a flight crew in transit. Yeah, I remember that. That was an outrage what they did to him. But
Yeah,
This-
that really was.
this is over $30. She wasn't dragged off anywhere.
Right. Now,
You know-
this is the same airline, right? That one guy got beaten.
No. That was United. This is Delta.
Oh, God, wow. They must be friends.
I
They must be.
oh damn it.
I'm sorry. This is business, and any business that is being ran needs to be treated like a business. It needs to, cater to the customers. If someone pays for a fucking seat, then they damn well should get that fucking seat. I mean, end of story. There should not be, oh, well, we gave your seat away, but here's this rinky-dink one. I hope that it makes things better. You know what? This is where I'm tired of money being the talker. You sit there and you pay for someone else has more money even though you've already paid for it, and they sit there and they swaddle their fucking $100 bills and be like, well, I really want this seat. Can I have it?
I kind of doubt that's how that went down, though. I mean, I don't know how it did, but something just tells me that this girl just flaunted some money around and got Ann Coulter's seat.
Okay.
I mean,
so then, do you think that she gave up pussy for it?
what?
Well, I mean, something had to have happened. You don't just give someone else's seat away without justifiable cause.
Hell, I don't know what she did to get it.
She did something.
I'm glad she did it, though, because it's funny as hell that Ann Coulter's pissed off. Dude, are you sure you're not smoking some of this?
No.
I feel like I lost you there somewhere. I feel like
No, I'm just
I feel like our
trying to-
trains just kind of shoot right by each other.
And they probably did, but no, in my mind, I'm trying to work out the details. I'm trying to figure out the whys in this situation. Because, like I said, if you're going to pay for something and it's a business, then you should get it. If they're selling it, you should get it if you've already paid for it.
Sex should be a business.
Well, I mean, yes, I do agree. Legalized prostitution should be absolutely a must here in America. I mean,
I am pro prostitution.
as long as it's done right.
Yes, I love hookers. Hookers are awesome. Stop making our hookers feel bad.
Well, I mean, all right. First
Stop
off,
arresting the hookers.
we gotta get them off the streets. They cannot be on any type of drugs. They need to be
Get
vaccinated.
off of the streets.
They
Get
need to have
into my bed.
a fully functioning courthouse, like Dolly Parton did in that movie.
Best little whorehouse in Texas.
But also,
You never say that movie by name, I noticed.
no, it's Dolly Parton's boobs. Every time I think of Dolly Parton, I think of her boobs, and then I lose my train of thought. And
Ah!
I keep forgetting the name of the movie. I'm not even gonna lie. She's got amazing
She got some
tits.
bongers.
Even at her
some
age,
bongers.
she looks fucking amazing.
I haven't seen her recently.
Oh, you should definitely take a look.
You know who I find hot now?
Who?
That I don't know if anybody else does, but I think is hot now is Monica Lewinsky.
I have not looked at her.
That chick
in
is
years.
smoking hot now.
She's got the bling bling for it.
I don't know about that. I mean, I guess she did a book about what happened between, her and the Clintons and all.
Yeah.
But damn, she fine, girl. She lost that weight.
I'm gonna have to look
Did
her
some
up.
working out.
But
She's
no,
got
I
this
mean-
big smile with the white teeth.
But not like really big lips, like the Botox lips.
No. This is all natural.
Good. That's
All
what-
natural.
No, but back to legalization of prostitution. I mean, if you legalized it and they were vaccinated, they're not on drugs. It becomes a safer environment. Alcohol should not be sold within the whorehouses themselves, because anytime you're mixing sex and alcohol, things can always be violent. Tempers can flare. It's just not a good situation. But there's a lot of pros to it being legalized. I mean, taxes goes to state. It's the money is being organized the way it should be. Less people are going to jail for selling their bodies, and
see, that's the problem. That's the selling point you're going to have a problem with, because decriminalizing anything in this country is it's an uphill battle. Look at decriminalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the friggin' drugs, why is that one? Why is that one illegal? And yet tobacco and alcohol, which obviously
Still
do kill
flourishes.
people.
Yeah. And then you also have the drugs that are still being test drugs. We're not even talking about the stuff that's already been cleared by the FDA or whatever. We're talking about drugs that are still being tested that we're giving to kids and other adults that are on these insurances that are paid by the state, being used as test rats from the pharmaceutical companies, but yet smoking a joint is illegal. Buying marijuana is illegal. What the fuck?
It's, and I think a lot of the problem is that people know that a lot of times when people smoke, they get woke.
They do.
They get woke, and then they don't like
starts-
that.
You start thinking.
Marijuana literally is the drug of revolutions.
See, and that's the thing. Marijuana is not a gateway drug. It's an exit drug. I've used it to quit smoking cigarettes before I had to, quit smoking marijuana due to pregnancy.
Right.
I know I personally use marijuana to get off of my own prescription medicines of antidepressants and shit from my bipolarism, which helped a great deal because I wasn't shaky, I wasn't moody, I wasn't turning around and biting people's heads off. I'm pregnant, so I do that more so now than anything. But, ultimately, and I'm not the only case. You can sit there and look online and hear these wonderful stories, usually from people in states where it's legal, that have used it to get off of heroin, used it to get off of alcohol, used it to get off of all of these different street drugs, using it for depression, using it, in a form of an antidepressant. People that can't smoke it because they have bad lungs, they have edibles. This is becoming a revolutionary thing, but yet it's being fought. And I'm sorry, Kentucky, we are not a part of the Bible Belt, and I really hate that term is used to sit there and when it comes to the legalization of marijuana, we're part of the Bible Belt. No, we're not. We're wannabes. Quit using your God as a reason to not legalize something, because I'm telling you right now, LGBT rights, we're still working, especially in Kentucky for better, just to be treated better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to get married to my fiance, but it's not stopping the people on the streets from throwing a rock. It's not stopping people from, when I turn my back, having my tires slashed. And this is shit that's happening constantly. And I love Lexington. Lexington is one of the biggest places for those that support, gay marriage, gay rights, equality. And that's really what it all comes down to. Where's the equality? If my kid goes to school and they find out that their parent or her parents are gay, well, guess what? She becomes a fucking target, where she's being bullied and picked on and whatever, just because of what her parents do in the privacy of their bedroom. I don't go out there flaunting it. I'm not, it's not that I don't do PDA.
Right.
But, I'm not out there putting my tongue down her throat. I'm not giving her a lap dance out there in public.
Frankly, if you were, who cares?
Yeah, but, the respect, out there, for other kids. When you're out in public, I wouldn't want a straight couple making out in front of my kids if I'm going to a grocery store. I don't want to sit there and see a lot of grab-assing in front of my kids because of the way that I raise them. That.
Yeah, but
should
there's
be a
some
respect.
parents that don't care about that.
No, but if you're gay, oh my god, red flags and everything, pedophiles and
Yeah.
see, and people people are so eager to judge what they don't understand.
Yeah, I know, and they won't bat an eye if there is a girl that's twerking on a guy's jock. But the moment two men hold hands,
right,
it's the end of the world.
And where's the justice in that? There is no equality in that at all.
No, of course not.
At all. It's sickening,
And the thing is like the rights are there and all, but it's the respect from the common person, really. It's like, what? Don't agree with it, fine. Go on your Twitter rants about it, but just don't be an asshole in real life about this.
Right. And now, don't get me wrong.
Keep it to yourself.
There are some churches, one in particular that I was part of, before I started finding my own way, that are not gay bashers, that, have gay individual couples and stuff like that go in, and they are openly respected. And for those people, that's awesome, that's great. I'm not singling Christianity out. It's not just Christianity, it's all religions that, are using their religion or hiding behind it as a reason to state that, well, gay isn't right, that's disgusting, or, the judgmental one.
But they're not going to give up their lobster.
No, they're not.
Damn it all to hell, they are not giving up that buttery, delicious lobster.
But I want a lobster tail. Those things are freaking yummy. Oh, lobster. God, I can't wait until this baby comes out. I want real seafood. I want real sushi. My mouth is watering. Oh, my goodness. And most of all, I want this heartburn to stop.
Right?
Oh, I want lobster.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'd
That
give
was
anything for a good lobster tail.
You know what? That sounds like a great segue into a break.
I agree.
Alright, so let me go ahead and switch this to the other image. We'll be right back. And just give us about 10 minutes. What? Did you want to say something else?
No, I just really want a lobster tail. God. And I'm not even thinking about dipping in anything other than butter and garlic.
Okay. Alright, we'll be right back. And we are back.
In the doghouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you have a good break?
I did. I had a good break.
Awesome, because now I'm going to throw some stuff at you, kind of rapid fire here. Let's see what we think of this stuff.
All right.
So I came across an article from The Economist called "No One is Well Served by Sexism in Japan."
Okay.
Except perhaps the industry catering to the sexually frustrated. So I have a feeling I know what this is going to talk about.
Who's not sexually frustrated?
At first glance, Sora Top Sakana is aimed squarely at the preteen market. It's a pop group it's talking about. Where's it actually going to talk about anything interesting? There's misogyny in Japanese society? Really? There's such thing as misogyny? Does that actually happen?
What is that?
You ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, I'm just fucking around. I know what misogyny is.
No, I don't know what that is at all.
That's the hatred of women.
Oh well, that's not.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck this article is going to go on about, but I'll tell you what. You know, I thought this was going to talk about the whole, the men don't want to date women because it's too much trouble, so they get sex dolls instead.
Well, I mean, at least you don't have to worry about constant arguments or having to buy them flowers.
That's actually what I've heard a couple of them say.
That's hilarious.
But it's mostly about the emotional frustration because, you know how there's the ups and downs.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with these dolls, they don't have to worry about the negatives. Except that, well, there's not another human being next to you.
Well, I was about to say, if you're just sexually frustrated and you want to, quick ejaculation, whether you're male or female, I can understand picking up a toy or, going funneling yourself or however, you're going to do it. But ultimately, like, for me, a relationship is, sex is great, don't get me wrong, I'm all for it. But it's the cuddling, it's the aftercare, it's the binding of souls, if you believe in such things. It's so much deeper, you have someone that stands by your side through thick and thin, and we're not even talking about marriage, we're talking about actual relationships where love is involved.
Where is the soul located anyway?
Well, I like to think that, it's somewhere a part of the aura. Everyone has their own aura, life energy, however you want to consider it. Some people believe it's, through the running blood of
Where do you find the aura?
Within the body. It's just...
Really?
Well, have you ever heard of the God particle? Go on ahead.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
You might want to look it up. I'm not
The Higgs boson.
Yeah. It's supposedly... From what I can remember, the God particle is a mass of some sort within the body that when you're alive, it's actually there. But if I'm not mistaken, like once the body is deceased, they can't find it. Now, like I said,
whoa.
Yeah, look it
I
up.
don't know what you're talking about. Higgs boson is supposed to be the smallest increment of...
Well, hell, for all I know, the God particle, the reason that they can't find the mass, it could be, you shit it out, when it comes to the last, moments of your life. I hate to be like that, but, I really don't know.
88 megabits per second, and I can't get this article to load any faster than this.
Oh, my goodness.
It's an elementary particle in the standard model of particle physics. It's the quantum excitation of the Higgs field, a fundamental field of crucial importance to particle physics theory, first suspected to exist in the 1960s. Unlike other known fields such as the electromagnetic field, and oh my god, my tongue on both sides have been biting it so much, it has a non-zero constant value in vacuum. The question of the Higgs field's existence became the last unverified part of the standard model of particle physics, and for several decades was considered the central problem in particle physics. Let's see where there's actually...
I was about to say, is there layman's terms? Or because...
No, this looks like it was written by a friggin' particle physicist.
Right.
It's like, I really just kind of want the short and sweet of it. I don't have an hour to spend on the show looking for a single definition. Either way, no, the Higgs boson, I don't know where you got that having to do with particles. I mean, auras.
Well, no. Like I said, I really don't know. It was more or less a question based as a statement.
I still don't know where the soul is.
Well, the soul, I think, in general, is an idea, you know, as far as either you believe that you have one or you don't. But ultimately, it's something that leaves the body when you die.
If I didn't believe I had a heart, would I still have one?
I believe you would.
Okay. So why does the soul only exist if I believe it exists?
I think that goes into the religious aspect of it all. I really do. That's it. Like, it's like saying one is heartless or, you know, soulless if they're mean or corrupt in any shape or form.
See, I don't...
But
I just don't believe in that stuff.
But you're an atheist, so you're when it comes to your thoughts and idea, you know, if it's not based upon fact, you know, you know, it doesn't have a leg to stand on in your mind.
No, it really doesn't.
And I respect that. I do. I believe in souls. I believe that, you know, I've had outer body experiences before where I've sat there and I've looked at my body while asleep, and I've actually wandered around, and it's a really odd feeling, especially when you're sucked back into your body, you know, with force, you know, like if you're abruptly awoken by someone else or a noise, it's when you wake up, your whole body is paralyzed for a couple of seconds, and it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, but don't you think that, like, because you said you're asleep, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think your brain is just making you feel those things?
Well, the brain is very powerful.
Yeah, it is. It could just be that the brain is creating this scene for you in your head. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, I'm outside of my body, and it's generating that imagery for you, because it's you know, it can make those calculations really fast.
Right. Well, and like I said, you know, I can see where you're coming from. I think that's where faith comes in, and I don't care what your religion is. Usually, if you stand by one religion or another, even if it's something that you've developed within yourself, you know, souls...
I'm so getting in the doghouse right now. Because I'm really taking a huge risk of pissing off my co-host talking about the souls and stuff.
Well, you know, and, you know, for me, the closest thing that comes to my own religious beliefs is what the Native Americans, you know, believed in before Christianity actually abruptly ruined their households. And no, in all honesty, you know, you hear the term higher power, you know, or God. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, you know, who, if you believe in a higher power, who it is. It's ultimately that being that looks after you, takes care of you, father, mother, you know, Wiccan or pagan standpoints to, you know, just being one with earth and believing that every living thing has a soul, including the ragweed growing, you know, up across, you know, the field.
I guess as long as what you believe doesn't lead you to kill or rape a bunch of people,
right?
Then
yes.
I'm all right with it. Just please don't try to put creationism into my schools. Damn it, that bugs me. I hate this governor so much. Anyway, though, we totally derailed from my elevated status. Decided to deter us a little bit.
Right.
So let's get that back on track. So if not sex dolls, then you know what the big thing. There's a lot of people worried about sex robots.
You talking about the robots that actually show emotion and talk to you?
Yeah,
and look
the
just
ones
like
that.
people.
Mm-hmm.
That's expensive. I have looked into that. I forget what the creator's name was over in Japan, I believe it was, and he was still trying to mimic facial expressions.
They're still working on that.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff recently. I'm talking like within the last few months. That shows that they're still working on it. They're even creating consciousness. It's amazing that this guy is sitting there talking to this woman's head. It's just a robot's head is all it is.
Right.
But for her to actually be depressed because she has awareness, because she realizes that she's a robot head and she's probably going to die when they turn her off. And it's freaky.
That actually would freak me the fuck out.
Right?
I mean, God.
Sorry.
When you're talking about awareness and giving awareness to an inanimate object, such as, a computer system, if they're able to have awareness, then they're able to eventually tell what the weaknesses of humans are, especially since they'd intellectually be 10 times smarter than we are.
Yeah, but the problem is that until we could actually make them intelligent enough to be able to design them better bodies for themselves, they would always need us. But talk about coming aware. It reminded me of an episode of Finn and Jake, the Adventure Time.
Yes.
And where there's this meteor coming at the Earth, and Finn is casting spells with Jake, and they hit a rock, and it comes to life. He says, "Yay, I'm alive!" And it looks up at this giant fiery meteor and goes, "Oh God, save me!" Coming to life just to know you're going to die. That has got to suck.
I wouldn't,
that is a level of honesty I don't think I can handle. It's like, oh, you may be, and now you will turn me off in an hour. Great. Fuck you.
Oh man. No, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. That's just as bad as being brought back to life centuries after you've died, just for a moment or two, just to see if someone can do it, and then okay, well, we're done with that, go on ahead and kill it.
You know what though, if you resurrected a body that was that old, that'd just be harsh, because they'd be so decayed.
But think about it, science.
How would they move?
Science in itself. I mean, look at where dentistry started. Dentistry, when it first came to actually being a process and actually working on, they bloodletted people, and I mean, it was a very cruel practice. It was very scary. I'd much rather just pull my own teeth out in my home than sit there and have someone cut on me and be like, the reason that you are having this problem in your mouth is due to some sorcery within your blood or some demon. No.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I bet you're glad that they created Hysteria.
Oh, that's a good movie.
No. The actual condition of hysteria.
Oh, well then
if it wasn't for hysterical women, they would have never invented dildos.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah, you gotta be happy for... Yeah, sure, you're classifying women as crazy, but if it wasn't for doing that, they wouldn't have created the trend of toys that exists today.
Yeah, which...
They might have eventually done it, but they,
Well, I mean,
who knows how much later.
Women need love too, even if it's by an inanimate object, which I have plenty of.
Yeah, well, it goes along with the whole sex robot thing. Isn't it just an elaborate sex toy? I mean, imagine a whole segment of the BDSM community sprouting up just from sex robots alone. Imagine a robot as a dom and actually did the job right.
Oh my goodness.
Could you ever trust a robot to be your dom?
No.
But if you program it though...
Yeah, but See, that's where my paranoia kind of fluctuates, because I watched a movie back when I was a kid where, you know, robots took over the Earth because they were given that amount of intelligence, and they started creating their own other robots. Hi, Luna. No, it was before that. It was before that, but iRobot is another good one. But no, I mean, like, ultimately, I don't know. For me, that's just a scary thought. It is. Just the idea of having those kind of interactions with a conscious robot. I don't care how much they look human, and provide that human comfort, the cuddling, and you know, in this case, you know, like you had said, you know, a daddy Dom being a robot. I mean, for some people that would be absolutely great, but a lot of these people, you know, like myself, have been socially declined into feeling like we don't have other like-minded people to, you know, be able to socialize and you know, have relationships with. That would be the whole point of having these robots, is so that you don't have to get out there and experience rejection, or, you know, experience, you know, people that are not of like mind. I don't think I'd be for that. That would be like thinking of my grandchildren, you know, years down the line, having a robot boyfriend just because they don't want to argue, or they want someone to completely bend to their will. And
Yeah.
No. No. That's going to be the next racism, the next, you know, 50 to 100 plus years, creating these robots. It's going to be the North versus the South all over again. Oh, can you see it?
Well, there's another story I wanted to get to that I noticed during the break. This one is a different. It's got a bit of a different tone. There is. I don't know if you're familiar with the actor Donald Logue.
No, I'm not.
I know that should sound at least somewhat familiar to another person in the room right now.
Oh, you're talking about your wife.
Donald Logue, yeah. Recognize the name Donald Logue? Star of Fox's Gotham.
Oh.
He plays Harvey, or not Harvey, Bullock. Is it Harvey Bullock? Harvey, yeah, it's Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
Because I almost said Harvey Dent for some reason.
No, Harvey Dent.
Anyway, Bullock. Bullock is as what we know him. He is asking for the public's help in locating his teenage daughter, who was last seen a week ago in New York City. Apparently, his 16-year-old daughter, Jade Logue, disappeared in New York.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, don't know what the deal. Last seen June 26th. She is transgender and was previously known as Arlo Logue. So,
and that's a big city. I mean, there's... Oh my goodness.
It's possible she was kidnapped, but if she's I don't know, just the two cues I got from this article says something about, he wrote, I guess this was a Facebook post, "This is my daughter Jade. It's one of my favorite photos of her. Taken from a happier time."
Well, if there's issues within the household, it's very possible that she ran away.
It is possible. Maybe there was trouble because she was transgender. Maybe they didn't get along because of that for a little bit, and she ran away, and he regrets that.
Or there was parental issues within the household, you know, between the parents. You know, I mean,
right.
I myself ran away when I was younger because my mom and her boyfriend at the time were having a massive argument. I really didn't run away. I was still within the area, but it was enough to make them stop and actually think about what the hell they were doing.
Now, here's the thing, though. The Facebook post goes on from there, though. I love all people. I've met tons, but honestly, there's never been a more loving, innocent, cuddly child than Jade. Of course, he'd be biased to say that. I love her and who she is, and her tribe is strong. Yeah. Not sure what that means. I've met many wonderful people through Jade. But there are some predators who swing among their ranks knowing they're dealing with sweet, trusting souls. We want you home, Jade. And here's a... I'm going to click this to see more. At least I hope I will.
Wow. Well, I mean,
It seems to be locked up. Whatever. Well, the point is, though, is that that leaves questions as to, was she with people that I don't know, maybe she was living with other people and he's afraid that they did something with her? Okay, here's where it continues. Whoever knows where she is, whoever may be with her, clearly this thing has become big and crazy. The net has been flung far and wide, and luckily I have dogged teams from the NYPD, FBI, and others involved. The point is, you may have had good intentions to help her, but I'm sure you realize that the situation is bigger than you could have anticipated. It's okay. Just drop her off. Let her get back in touch with her mother, Casey, or me. We'll take her back with hugs and no questions asked. And they ask gives contact information if anyone has any information regarding the disappearance.
wow. I mean, obviously, you know, he's concerned. His wife's concerned. You know, I mean, they obviously want her back, or they wouldn't be going the route that they're going, using the online as a media source to, you know, try and get in touch with her as well. Or it would have just been based on the news, and you know how much we actually watch the news. More people are on the internet nowadays than what they actually spend watching, you know, the television for local news and whatnot. I hope she gets back to her family safe and sound.
Yeah, no kidding. I hate seeing stuff like that happen, and it would tear my heart apart if I were to find out that this was something like a Casey Anthony thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going there saying it is. I'm just, it would break my heart if we had another one of those situations again. But it's, you know, I just want to see, I hate seeing teens disappear, and there's a number of reasons it could have happened. She could have been kidnapped, or she could have run away.
Right.
And maybe she ran away and didn't even have anything to do with her parents. Maybe she got tired of being bullied for being transgender, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, other kids or other grown-ups, other family members, and maybe the parents unfortunately don't see it, you know,
and they don't,
because they do it behind their backs and whatnot.
Right. Well, and if you have parents that work all the time, you know, it's hard to, you know, be able to open up that conversation about being bullied. And even though there's the whole anti-bullying act now in school, it doesn't save any of the kids from actually being bullied and ridiculed. I was constantly picked on.
Yeah.
From elementary school due to my sexuality before I even knew what gay was. I was called a butch before I knew what a butch was. You know, I knew there was something.
And you're just being yourself.
Right, exactly.
As far as you know.
Right, absolutely. You know, I mean, I didn't watch TV based on, you know, this, that, or the other. You know, a lot of this was just, I knew I was different. I just didn't know why. And I knew that the people around me weren't that way, and the churches that I was a part of, you know, they made me stand out. And eventually, after so long of being picked on and bullied, I absolutely took that into this is who I am, but I felt like it was wrong because of the way people treated that situation of, you know, being gay. And
right.
I thought it was a disease. I thought it was a problem within me that needed to be cured.
Well, it's a form of societal brainwashing. I mean, just through their behavior alone, they're making you feel like that just who you are, what you are, is an awful thing. And that happens. That tends to happen a lot, unfortunately, from parents too, though.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes the kids, because they're upgrading, because maybe they're in a religious household or something.
Right.
You know, they're made to feel like they are less than perfect. They're made to feel like they are some kind of horrible being.
Right.
Because they're different this way.
Yeah, it took my mom 5 years to actually, I don't want to say get over the fact of me being gay, but, you know, to stop making certain comments that would always make me feel bad. Now, she never threw the Bible at me. You know, it was never one of those things, but I think a lot of the comments that she made towards me or made, you know, with me being in the household, I don't think she knew how that would actually reflect upon my own self-image. And your own self-image, especially as a teenager, is so hard to, with your trying to find your own identity. It's hard enough going through the chemical imbalances, the hormonal changes of being a teenager. Your body's transforming into an adult. You're left with a lot of questions, and even though they do have health class that explains this stuff, it does not change the fact that everyone goes through it differently. And when you're an outcast, or you're made to feel like an outcast because of what you feel on the inside, or who you love, because I had a 5-year relationship from the age of 13, to 18 years old. And that was one of the roughest relationships that, I had, but I held on to that relationship even though it wasn't necessarily the best for myself or her, because I felt like it was the only person that I had in my life that actually understood where I was coming from. We were battling my parents. We were battling her parents. It was us against the world type of scenario. And I think that as more acceptance, not just within the community, within the school system, within churches, if that's, what your kids do, there needs to be open-mindedness. There needs to be compassion and love, and people ultimately to talk to, which is why I love the LGBT community, because they do have programs where, as a youth member, you can sit down, and it's so much better than therapy, because you're with other people that feel and think the same.
Right.
And I didn't get that until I was about 17 years old. 16, I'm sorry. Because in Louisville, that was the very first LGBT parade that I ever went to, and I was part of the youth group. We were part of the parade. And I found more people that were socially acceptable, and so I started to feel better about myself. I steered away from the churches at that point, because where they made me feel like it was an illness, just like alcoholism, I found a place where I felt like I belonged, where I didn't have to feel like I was being judged constantly. I was actually able to get over some of the brainwashing that was done to me at a young age through church. Now,
right,
yeah, but see,
that is hard to get over.
It is, because when it's done to you as a kid, and you can sit there and be 30 years old and still be trying to work on it and knowing it's a problem, but ultimately when it's done to you at such a young age, it is something that sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Yes,
it doesn't matter how much you try to overcome things, it still is going to rehash in your head.
It does get easier, though.
It does.
Honestly, it does get easier, and I know that because I am one of those huge advocates for religion is child abuse. I wholeheartedly believe that, and I don't care who that pisses off, because it's you are intentionally brainwashing your children so that they can't make decisions for themselves. If you really truly believe in that religion, you wait until they're older, talk to them about it then, let them reason for themselves, and just wait and see if it holds up to scrutiny from them, because I guarantee it won't.
She made it a choice for me. She didn't, tell me I had to go to church or anything like that when I was young. I made the ultimate decision to do it because there were other people that I knew that were going there, and I wanted to fit in. I didn't understand, and that is where I don't even think it should be a choice until after they've hit puberty. I mean, I think, 13 years old, where the limit should be to be able to give them that choice. And I don't say that because I don't believe that the community should be together. It's just, unless you're going to be right there in the learning room with your kids when it comes to going to church or any other mass, of religion, it is a form of brainwash. It is, oh, I want to fit in. And at a young age, that's all a child wants, is to fit in with their family, fit in with the community that they're spending this time with. And even if you're just going to church or mass or whatever on Sundays, you are still every Sunday seeing these same people. You don't want them to hate you. You don't want them to be disgusted by you. You ultimately want to be like them. And that's where brainwashing starts, is you want to appease the other community, or the community that you're within. Children can't make those decisions. That's like the reason why we have age of consent.
Yeah.
Is because they think they already have it figured out.
Yeah.
But they don't. And then they regret those decisions later on.
And the thing is, though, by the way, speaking of going back to that, the Heart Progress group, by the way,
Yes.
they changed it from LGBT and what is now LGBTQ
What?
now, right?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that what it's called now? Because queer got added to it.
I honestly didn't know about that, if that was a change.
Well, Heart Progress changed it to LGBTP. Because they actually want to add pedophiles. Or, no, sorry. Pedosexuals.
To the community.
Yes, they do. That's what they wanted to do.
Oh my goodness. No.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. No.
No, get it. No, the gay community got ahead of that.
That's the last thing the gay community needs right now, is to look worse than what we already do. I mean, and I'll say this. I
What's your bad rep is unfair. It's not. You shouldn't have one.
Because that has nothing to do with me. I definitely didn't vote that shit in. I'm sorry, but
No. I'm talking about as far as there's no reason why the LGBT as a whole should have any stigma to it.
No.
It's you know what? It's their
We have
lives.
enough.
Fuck you.
We have enough stigma. No. Oh my goodness. No, that blows my mind, thinking that that group would even think that they'd be.
Because they're trying to find a way to legitimize themselves.
No, but no. It is illegal. They should be in prison. These people should be on that pill that they give to some prisoners that rape other inmates, and it's that soft dick shit. Just take it away.
You mean medical castration?
Yes.
Yeah, or clinical castration, whatever they call it. There's a way to do it without actually castrating.
And this is where, it's a sickness. And yeah, it is a sickness. It is.
Yeah, it is
hereditary to an extent, and a lot of times
I don't know if I've heard that.
Well, think about it. Abuse is a cycle. All right, if you're sexually abused as a kid, you're more likely, unfortunately, to sexually abuse a child.
That's behavioral, though. That's not like in the DNA. When you say hereditary, I'm thinking it's like there's a gene in there that's getting passed down.
Well,
and it makes me think, oh shit. Well, it's a good thing none of my family are pedophiles. Jesus, they'll go accuse me because of them.
Yeah, no, I hate to say it, but my family has blue blood, or whatever you want to consider, liking their sister, liking their cousin a little bit too much. I'm not even, back in the holler. Let's get behind them bushes. No.
Oh, man.
But honestly, that they say that's hereditary, and I'm honestly gonna state I have never been sexually involved with any of my family or love interests that is related to me. I don't go
Ooh,
for
doggy.
it. Now, I know in Tennessee it's legal to marry your first cousin.
Hell, there's Jersey, isn't it, where you can marry your parent or child or something like that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Isn't it Jersey? Yeah, I thought so.
My.
Well, there was this girl. Well, they have to be of age, though.
Right.
So apparently there was a story a while back I came across where this woman, she had been, she had never ever met her father. Mm-hmm. She was, born and raised by the mother. And then one day when she got older, she decided she wanted to meet her father. Mm-hmm. So she went and met him, and they apparently hit it off so well. But since they never saw each other as father-daughter, they immediately started a romance.
Oh, wow.
So it's like...
I do remember you saying something to me.
I don't know how... I really, inside my gut, don't know how to feel about that. Because I hear that story, and I'm like, well, they never saw each other that way. I guess I can understand that. But...
At the same time, you have a daughter of your own, and it's like...
Yeah, it just... I can't... No. It just doesn't make... I can't... I can't forgive that rationale. I just can't do
And
it.
see, and that's where, as open-minded individuals that we claim to be, have to be like, well, it's not our life. It's not around us. It's not affecting anything.
They're grown
that
up.
we're
I don't
doing.
give a
They're
fuck.
grown up, and so on and so forth. And let them be if they're happy.
Yeah, they're not. You know what? That's.
It may not be something we agree with.
No.
But it's not something that is affecting us in any way, shape, or form. Just like.
Just my sensibilities. That's
yeah, it does
that's
boggle
it.
the mind a little bit. It's like, no, not for me.
Well,
Not for me.
before we get too far derailed, there's another thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you even know who this person is. I know I don't know them.
Okay.
But they are apparently an internet actress or star.
Okay.
The name is Stevie Ryan. And apparently she died at 33.
Oh, well, that's sad.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever heard of her or not.
Honestly, it doesn't ring a bell.
Well, if anyone's listening to this and happens to know who Stevie Ryan is, unfortunately, it appears that the Associated Press reports that she has passed away. I'll go ahead and just read the brief article. She's an actress and comedian who gained fame with impersonations of celebrities on YouTube. And she did impersonations of like Justin Bieber, Kim Kardashian, and Amy Winehouse. Had a sketch comedy show on VH1 for a while named Stevie TV, and had co-hosted a relationship talk show with someone named Brody Jenner. I don't know that name either. But the coroner for Los Angeles County said that Ryan died Saturday at her home in L.A., and says that it was ruled a suicide after they had performed an autopsy.
Oh, wow.
So she apparently had killed herself. So, I don't, just any thoughts on this young 33-year-old star?
Well, I was about to say, I mean, and obviously she was able to make some sort of name for herself. She was on VH1. Ultimately, though, I don't care how much money you have, if you suffer from depression, anxiety, bipolarism, when you are at your ultimate lows and your rock bottom, you're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
No.
No,
you're
you
not.
are full of so much pain on the inside with no way of letting it out. And if you do not get help, or have a community, that you can be a part of, you feel like you are alone, and so you're dealing with the depression, and you're also alone at the same time. This is where suicidal gets at its most likelihood. I mean, if you're bipolar, you have your manics, and then you have your terrible lows. If you don't have a support system behind you, those terrible lows feel like they're never going to end.
No, that's right. It can linger with you for literally years.
Yeah.
I know, because I suffered from depression mostly since I was a child. But it got really bad after I suffered an injury, as you know of, about 7-8 years ago.
You're back.
So, yeah. And I got really depressed, and I gained a lot of weight. And I couldn't see the light for anything.
Right.
And it had been that way. And it was nothing like it wasn't. I always felt bad. It was like a cycle, like you say, like, because I'm depressed, and then I realize that my depression hurts my family, and then I feel like a piece of shit. So then it just rolls back over into depression, and then I feel bad again. It just goes and goes and goes, and just makes it deeper and deeper.
Right, like a never-ending cycle.
Exactly. So then how do you find your way out of it? It's like the last show we did. I was talking about, if you can think happy thoughts, but how are you going to get a happy thought through that? Do they not understand that it's almost impossible for people that deep in their depression to get those happy thoughts rolling in the first place?
And when you're talking about clinical depression, I was in therapy from the age of 12 all the way, from my childhood up, on and off, in and out. There was 7 counties in Louisville. I had a wonderful therapist, and she did the best for me that she could legally. And she was really helping me. And then my mom and us, we moved. And from moving, I no longer had that safety net. And then I was put into another type of outpatient care. But that didn't help me. They just wanted to medicate me and zombify me, and there was no good outcome to that. And then when I moved back to Louisville to try to get back into 7 counties, I was too old. I was no longer in that age bracket to where I couldn't even get the therapist that I had. Those programs no longer were for me, so I had to go through the adult channels. And it seems like the adult channels, they don't put as much effort or funds or whatever the hell you want to consider the cause being like they do children. And to an extent it's understandable, because some of these programs are meant to start when you're a kid into your adulthood, and then you go from there, and then you're in the work bracket. As far as healthcare and such like that, you know, a lot of that has to do with the type of mental care that you get from places like 7 counties, Communicare, interventions.
Yeah.
But anymore, they just want to put you on medicine.
It's you know what though, I have to defer from you, differ from you. Jesus, man.
It's okay to be different.
It's my own medication here that's messing with me. No, I have to digress from, God damn it. Differ from you. I'm just going to stick with that because I can't actually think of the word I was trying to find. So that's just the closest thing. It's going to work for now.
Right.
I unfortunately have to disagree with you because I think the medication is a good thing. Because when I was on the meds, it didn't get me out of the depression, but at least it slowed down my panic attacks and stopped me from my suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
So medication sometimes does work, but frankly, you don't need that kind of medication because there is a much better medicine in the world that we need to legalize. And all of you know what that shit is.
Well, marijuana.
Get out and vote. Call your congressman. Call your, your local, state, and federal representatives. Make sure that they all hear you. Let them know what you really want. You want this shit legalized. They know you want it. You know you want it. We know you want it.
Absolutely. But what I mean by just putting people on medicine is until
Can I get an answer from the producer though? Because I asked both of you a question.
Well,
I sent you messages trying to do this all subtle, but since neither one of you will check them, now I have to interrupt the show. You're fired, just so you know. You're fired.
Oh, God. Well, okay, while they're doing that, what I mean by the medicine in a negative way is until you and your care provider can find the medicine that actually works best for you, you're going from one medicine to another to another. And as a kid going through puberty on top of these medicines, it has long-term effects on you.
Right.
I think the last thing a parent wants is to sit there and cause issues with their kid when they're an adult. And a lot of times they don't do the research, so they don't know that there is lasting issues putting kids on medicines. I am dealing with issues from being on Seroquel for as long as I was, because they put me on an antipsychotic where I wasn't psychotic, but they were treating me as such. And I have digestion problems now. You know, yes, I'm pregnant. I have, a lot of issues right now with my stomach, but ultimately, there are long-term effects on a person's body when they are taking a prescription drug for a long period of time, even if it is a subtle drug.
Right.
I do not agree with children being put on antidepressants and such unless it is a last resort.
I've got to stop you there because this just in.
What?
From our producer.
Oh?
Yes. Oh my God, you got to hear this headline before anything else.
Okay.
Police officers called to school after 9-year-old says the word brownies.
Where is this?
This is in New Jersey, an elemental school. Police were called after a 9-year-old student said brownies while talking about snacks, his mother alleged. Another student reportedly misinterpreted the comment and thought it was said in a racist way.
What? Oh my goodness.
A teacher
why?
subsequently called police. He said they were talking about brownies, the child's mother said. Who exactly did he offend?
Oh my goodness. Okay, kids, I don't want any of my kids going to school saying anything about brownies. Brownies are bad.
I guess the mother added that the incident has made her think twice about sending her child back to the school in the fall. I'm not comfortable with the administration. I don't trust them, and neither does my child, she said. He was intimidated, obviously. There was a police officer with a gun in the holster talking to my son saying, "Tell me what you said."
Oh my
He didn't
Lord.
have anybody on his side.
Wow.
So
That's
the
messed
cops
up.
spoke to the parents. The incident was reported to New Jersey Division of Child Protection and Permanency.
You have got to be
Are
kidding
you
me.
kidding?
You have got to be kidding me.
So oh wow! So they talk about a snack, and now they're getting reported to CPS.
So you have a school that I went to in Louisville where people were selling guns and selling drugs and other paraphernalia and alcohol in school, and nothing happens, and we're on the news every other freaking week for putting either a teacher outside the second-story window or a kid getting their head bashed in for being gay to a little kid says the word brownies.
It's this freaking school, though. Apparently, there was a policy change between the police and the schools in New Jersey, and now they want them to report incidents when deemed serious enough. And such action was typically taken in cases involving drugs, weapons, or sexual assault, in the past.
Well, and I can
But
understand.
now, since the meeting, the officers have been called to the school as often as 5 times per day. And some of it's just typical little kid behavior, says one of the teachers from the school. Never before in my years of teaching have I felt uncomfortable handling a situation or felt like I didn't know how to handle a situation. The mayor, police, and Camden County Prosecutor's Office ultimately arranged a meeting to discuss incidents.
Oh wow.
So it's crazy that are we getting so unbelievably sensitive that even just saying brownie, I think we're going to have to change the name of the food from brownie now.
You see that's just going overboard. I mean, really, that's ridiculous. And then that poor kid probably soiled himself when that cop was sitting there, "Tell me what you said."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the right way to have this generation raised up thinking that the police are on our side. Good job, police. Hope you feel good about yourself.
Thanks for fact checking. By the way, because apparently this is fake.
This is why I want to homeschool my kids.
No,
so much.
hold on. Apparently it's fake.
Are you serious?
Apparently it's fake. Oh, come on.
Oh, thank God it was fake, though. Oh my goodness, because I was about to go on a fucking rant.
Over racist brownies.
Oh my, But you know, in all
Hold
honesty,
on. Is that the same one?
I have no idea.
Yeah. This is Stacy Dos Santos. Talk about brownies. Who exactly did he offend?
Snopes that shit.
Yep.
If you don't know if it's legit and it's on the web, go to Snopes.com, people, and look that shit up.
Yep, that's where I'm at
because
right now.
They will fact check you. But on a important note, we have to start wrapping things up. We have a lot to do today.
I can't believe we're going to end the show like that. Bad. Bad. Ah. Well, why link it to me then? It's now we look like total assholes. I guess that's why we're always
in the doghouse.
Woof woof.
Hey,
Somewhere like a
we're good
train
enough
then.
To, check the facts and be like, oh no, we were wrong. How many people can actually say that?
Woof woof woof. Yeah. By the way, as a quick announcement before we leave,
Okay.
guess what came in today?
What came in?
Microphones.
We got new mics.
We got new mics.
We got new mics.
So that means tomorrow We're each going to have our own mic.
No more deep throating this damn thing.
Yeah, you'll have to find something else to deep throat now. Sorry.
I'm gonna buy me some dum-dums.
Okay, well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Hit like if you've enjoyed the content. Subscribe, because we'll be doing this 5 days a week.
Now I'm gonna go take a shit in the backyard.
Always be ready. Thank you for that. Like and subscribe, and feel free to comment. We love to engage people that have half a brain to engage us with.
A quarter of a brain is okay too.
Two cells just kind of rubbing together.
Make fire.
Am I forgetting anything else? I'm so goddamn unprofessional. I don't think there's any pretense of professionalism going on here.
Is this mic edible? I think I'm gonna lick it.
Alright, so I guess that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
This is Brode.
This is Alex.
Saying we'll see you next time in the Doghouse. Bye-bye.